Hello, ladies and germs and ghouls. Welcome to episode 2 of Chiller on Drizzleland. So, the first episode I kind of talked about my house that I grew up in and some of the things that happened to me and my family. This one is primarily going to be about weird people that I encountered who had paranormal powers that they could use against you when they were pissed off. Now, the first person I'm going to talk about is the first roommate that I had. We were good friends for many, many years, and then basically he met this girlfriend who was into voodoo, and she was also into witchcraft, and she could basically conjure up spirits and basically demons whenever she wanted to. So let's start with when he and I first moved into this apartment that we had settled on getting. I didn't know anything about his girlfriend. Frankly, I thought she was pretty normal the first time I met her. But when time went on, when he started having her over and some of the things that they were doing, they had like ritual books on tape that they were listening to. They would draw pentagrams in the car with like salt around it in the carpet. Then they would light candles. They would start reading some of this scripture that she apparently knew. Basically, she was trying to summon some type of a demon, which basically she did, because after that time, when I walked in, they were all in the middle of the room with her friends, and they were basically conjuring a demon. And ever since then, every single day after that, weird stuff started happening. We had incidents where the lights would just all of a sudden flash on and off. We kept what sounded to be like hearing screaming, children laughing, and the other thing that was really strange was she had another friend that was coming over who was bringing goat's blood, which I have no idea where she was getting that.
Yuck.
And her friend was actually drawing symbols in the blood on her forehead. Now, when I ran in on that, coming home from work, I pretty much lost it. I pretty much said, no way, get her out of here, she's not allowed here anymore. Well, even after she wasn't coming over anymore, my roommate was still practicing voodoo because he still had dolls that he was messing around with pins. It was just not a good environment. Now, when he would get mad at me, what he would do is he basically would find some way or another to cast some type of a spell on me so that I would have bad luck. Now, the first time he did that was when I caught him trying to break in to my room to steal money, and that was the first time when he basically got so mad at me that he cast a spell on me. And what was strange was after he did that, every night at about 2 in the morning when I would wake up, I would start seeing green glowing eyes in my closet watching me. I also heard laughing. I also heard people saying my name. There was a few times when I would wake up and I would randomly start hearing scratching on the wall. And I kept looking around with my flashlight trying to figure out what it was, thinking it might have been like a mouse or something, trying to have some logical explanation for it. And nothing ever happened. whenever I had the flashlights on or the light on, only when the light was off. Then there was one time when we had to call the fire department because we had some type of a smoke detector that was going off, and we kept smelling smoke, but there was no fire anywhere in the whole apartment. So that didn't make sense to me. So that's, long story short, with my roommate was, apparently he just decided to go loony one day, and he tried physically attacking me with a knife, and then that was pretty much the end of that. That was when I left. And then shortly after that, he was admitted into a psych hospital, and he is still in there now. So all I want to say with that is, if you ever have a creepy roommate, keep track of what they're doing, and if they're doing anything satanic, that's a huge red flag to just get the hell out of there, because they don't care about your safety. They want to hurt you and try to make sure that you don't live. Now, the second part of this is I'm going to tell you about an ex-girlfriend. Obviously, no names because I don't want to get sued by people. So let's just call her Crazy Girl. Yeah, let's just call her Crazy Girl. This girlfriend I had known for 11 years. We were good friends for many, many years before we even dated. But something was not quite right about her, though, because she had like multiple personality disorder or something. Because one minute she was perfectly fine and nice to people in public, and then when I was alone with her, it was like she became the psycho big time, like yelling, screaming, witchcraft stuff, trying to hide the witchcraft stuff because she kept talking about how she was the daughter of Mary and Joseph from the Bible. Now, when I found out this stuff, I was kind of like, this is kind of strange, because for all these years I always thought that she was normal. But when I found out that she had all these other friends who were into voodoo and, conjuring stuff and using Ouija boards, and she used to lock herself in my room for like a whole day and not leave my room. I had to actually wait till she fell asleep to try to get into my room so I could get clothes and things I need out of my own room. She also locked my cat with her in my room, so I don't know what she was doing with my cat. I hope she wasn't casting spells on my cat. Now, later on, I had discussed with a few of her friends, and they were telling me some stories about her being like really stalkery. Apparently she had stalked a professor online, and then she eventually got caught because of the messages that she was posting, and she got a restraining order, and she also got kicked out of that class. The other thing that I thought was really strange was she was very possessive and controlling. If I was even talking to a female friend or something like that, and if she found out about it, she basically would just lock herself in my room, and she would go on these web chats. Later on, one day when she was asleep, I went on her computer and I actually looked up like her internet history to see what she was doing, and she was going on some of these website chat rooms that had to do with like witchcraft and satanic worship and cults and things like that. And I'm like, okay, if she's a diehard Christian, why is she in these chat rooms? How does that make sense?
Because she's not who she says she is, probably.
No, it's false identity. That's what it is.
I think a lot of people do that.
Now, I feel like, me personally, that whole period of time when she was living with me, I feel like she was casting spells on me for bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
When she was getting mad at me, isn't it convenient that like the very next day something really horrible would end up happening to me? Like whether it was something to do with finances, something around the house, something physical, like let's say I remember falling in the shower one day and I'm like, okay, normally this wouldn't happen because there's a mat on the bottom of the floor. Why would I randomly slip? The other thing that was strange too was that there was messages that would, when I would get out of the shower, that would be written on the mirror. And like one of them was like death, and the other one was like hate. Just weird things like that.
She did that?
Yes.
Man.
And now, she told me that she was completely blind, but I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, if a person's completely blind, how would they write something on a mirror with their fingers? That doesn't make any sense. So, my theory is that since the first time that I met her, she was pretty much lying to me about what she could and couldn't see. What I was also told by an ex-boyfriend of hers was that she had been in psych hospitals off and on. She never said anything to me about that. Apparently she was embarrassed about it and she didn't want to say anything about it. I guess what I want to accomplish with this is, before you have anybody move in with you, or date anybody, or marry anybody, you need to know them, like, in and out. You can't just say, okay, I know you by 4 or 5 dates and just move in and marry.
That's gone too fast.
No. Because you don't know what these people are doing behind your back. Because when she did move out, she did leave some things in my house that I had to throw out. And we're talking, like, audiobooks about like witchcraft. There was oils. There was clothes. Which I must say, the clothes, there was some form of a robe that she had there that was a black robe.
Oh my god.
And I don't know what it was, if it was like a cult robe or satanic robe or something like that, but it was not something that you would wear out in public.
No.
Now, when she left my house, you guys, I still had bad luck. Jay Wilkins 79 can vouch for this because I had 2 massive floods in my house. The hot water heater exploded in my house.
Tell them about the curse you think she put on.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure that she cursed me because I still have something in my house that in the middle of the night wakes me up and that calls my name. And it comes from the closet in my room. And I hear claw mark, I hear like scratching on the door every once in a while, calling my name. So apparently she conjured some type of demon or spirit or something that's watching me. All I'm gonna say is, don't get me wrong, if you like to dabble into black magic, that's your business. But me personally, I've already experienced the horrible backlash of what that can happen to a person. It can drive a person mad. Because apparently she was crazy because she was admitted to a psych hospital 3 times. My theory is because she was conjuring these demons, probably from a young age, and they kept driving her mad to the point to where she had to be admitted. Now, all I'm going to say is make sure that before you have anybody come over to your house that you understand exactly what they're about. because you don't know if they're gonna try to do something to you or cast a spell on you.
Or your animals.
Or animals too. That's the thing, is that my cat, I think my cat knows that something is wrong in my house because she keeps going to that closet and looking in there and meowing and looking back at me and saying, "Meow, Daddy, something's here. I can see it. You can't, but I can." Because animals are very sensitive to those things.
You should get someone to bless your apartment or something.
And actually, guys, that's what I'm doing next month. Is I'm buying sage and I'm cleansing my whole entire house to get rid of whatever's in there.
Will that work pretty much?
That's what I was told, yeah.
Good.
Because I talked to somebody else on YouTube who's done that, who's cleansed their house that way with the sage. And
I'd say it's been over a year since she's left, probably. Almost
yes,
a year.
it's been over a year, but I have to admit that the bad luck is still, it's still there. Like, something is still around. So, because I still have random bad things happen that I can't explain. Like, 2 nights ago I had a light bulb explode. And I didn't even touch it or do anything to it. It just magically just boom, glass on the floor. Oh yeah, and I've had things fall off of top shelves that I didn't even touch and land on the floor. So
you know what you should do is set up a camera, like when you're sleeping one night, and try and get something on tape.
So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that I should do that experiment, or do you think I should cleanse the house? I'm kind of leaning towards cleansing the house, because I'm kind of tired of the bad luck and the curses. Because she's the wicked witch. Let's just put it that way. She was not very nice to me. And I think she should have stayed in the mental asylum personally. I think whoever let her out was nuts themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, with this video, be well, and just remember that bad things can happen to you, and be very careful who you let into your house. This is Chiller from Drizzle. Ghouls be with you.